Hey guys, Wages World here, May 28, 2020. I'm going to come at you with a video here real quick. We got some action going on the sun. It started 3 or 4 days ago, guys, maybe even 5 when I've been talking about it here for a minute. And man, there's stuff happening right now. And I 100% think that it's happening because of planetary alignment with us, Venus, and the sun. I think all that lining up together the way that it is, I think it's causing the sun to react. It's at least, instigating some of that and adding to the fact that stuff's going to happen. But before we get into that, I want to give you an update here on the Schumann, okay? Something I've been noticing, guys, I know there ain't no spikes on here except for little ones. If you look at this and you draw a line right down the middle, that looks identical. And I've been noticing that for a minute. Also, check this out. Between about 2200 local time and about 4 the next day, every day we've got a decrease in the Schumann frequency. So I'm not sure if that's a normal thing. Maybe it's because of the position of the tool as we rotate around, and maybe it's because it's facing the sun at different times and all that. But, for that to happen, it's kind of crazy. And here's the other thing. These spikes, they're almost identical. And it looks like as we're progressing here, it looks like this one over here is starting to get a little bit more intense. Now remember last week, the 12-day thing that we were looking at, we had a spike at the same time for 12 days in a row. And it started low like this is, and it steadily increased. It peaked out, and then it actually, decreased at basically the same level. So all that stuff I'm saying right there, in my opinion, is unnatural. That is not something that happened naturally. Something intelligent made that happen. Whether it was a side effect from something we were doing here on our planet, or whether it was coming from the outside, but something intelligent caused that to happen. That is not coincidence. Nature does not do things like that. Okay? Not such specific ways. Now, they can resemble itself, but 12 days in a row, guys, you show me 1 or 2 days in a row, and I'm still going to have a hard time believing it was nature. But you guys see where I'm going with that. So we're going to watch this some more, okay? We'll see if this pattern continues. It may or may not. We'll just keep an eye on it. Okay, guys, this is really why I'm making this video right here. We got some pretty good action happening on the sun, and we really need to be aware of this, okay? And that's why I'm going ahead and jumping out here and showing it to you. Because it's going to be, you guys are going to see some stuff here that we haven't seen in a very long time. This is stuff that we see as the sun becomes more and more active, which I've been talking about that for weeks now. And this is the whole reason, like when people were getting on me about showing little stuff, I was showing that little stuff the whole time saying, listen, we're seeing more and more of this little stuff. Eventually it's going to turn into big stuff. So, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We had stuff that was off the side of the sun that was not Earth facing that I was looking at and showing you guys and saying, hey, when it becomes Earth facing, we really got to pay attention. And now we got stuff going on those same exact areas I spoke about. So, and I say that not to say, listen, look at me here, this, that, and this, right? I'm saying that because I want everybody to understand that if Wages World goes completely away, if I fall off the face of the earth, at least you guys know to still look at the little stuff. No matter what some other person is trying to get on you about. It doesn't matter. You do you. You look at that stuff, whether somebody's getting on you about it or not, saying it's irrelevant. Well, guess what? The irrelevancy has turned into something that now we got to pay attention to. So that's why I say that. Now, this is back on the 25th. I'm going to show you CME, solar flares, all the above, day after day after day. I can go back even further, guys. We've had CMEs in action and stuff and solar flares happening for almost every day for like over a week. And I've been showing you guys. They haven't been big, and I say that every time. They're not big, they're not going to hit us, that kind of a thing. Well, this time we have some coming at us. And this is what we don't want to really actually happen when our magnetic field is weak. So this is back on the 25th, and you guys already walked through this with me already once. You can see it starting to happen. See that flash, remember? And then we had the jets pop out. And then the next day, because it was at the end of the day when that happened, we had this. Okay? That's that double wave CME or flare, whatever you want to call it. It probably had both involved. Okay? That's the one that's coming at us. It's going to hit us here tomorrow night, maybe the next day. We have to wait and see how fast it's moving. But at the end of this one here, you can see that another ejection happened over here. Okay? It's separate from that one. It's not coming at us, but that did happen. And why am I pointing that out right now? Because that is coming from an active area on the sun that was off the side of the sun where we couldn't see it. Stereo A could see it, but from our view, we couldn't. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. And that's why I mentioned it and showed it to you and said we got to watch this area, because as it becomes Earth facing, if it starts doing stuff, we could have issues. So that was on the 26th. Here's the next day. Here's the 27th. Now I showed you guys this last night in my video, except for the end of this, because it wasn't there yet. Now you're seeing those jets pop out above and below that occulter again. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this as it gets to the end of the time lapse. Right about, you guys seeing that flashing right there? Now again, see there's another CME. Take note of the shape of that. That's a CME and a flare, I believe. I couldn't really tell because that activity was off to the left of the sun, left from our view. All right. In other words, it's on the east limb. If you're looking at the sun from SDO, to the left is actually east. I know it's kind of confusing, but you'll hear people say, hey, it's coming off the east limb of the sun. They're talking about this side. When you look at a map, for all of us, east is over here, right? So, but you got to look at it a little different here, because when we're talking about space and all that, the navigation is different. So you can see, another CME there. But look here at the end. We have another one poking out here. This is, one after the other now, guys. So we keep going through. I hit next day. My bad. Let's go back here to this one. I'm going to pause it again because I want you guys to see the beginning of that one. Start that up again. Okay. Now, that was the very first capture of that day right there. So I'm going to back it up to the last capture. Look what's happening. That's another CME. This CME here turns into something big. Okay? We're going to look at stereo A and we're going to look and see if it's coming at us. I don't think that it is. I actually think this one may be actually blowing off the backside a little bit. But we'll take a look at it and see what's going on with it. But this was on the 27th. All right? Now we're going to go to today. And lo and behold, there you go. Okay? Plus, watch on the left side now. Another one. You guys seeing this? All right? Those are not small. Those are significant. We're talking C-class flares now. Okay? So if any of that stuff is like aimed at us, if it was a flare, we would already experience that energy and it's already gone. It would be here and gone in 8 minutes. Okay? We wouldn't have any warning. This is basically just a subsequent CME that happens around stuff like that. Now there could be flares involved before and after the CME. That could happen too. And a lot of times it does. Usually, sometimes when you get a CME or a solar flare, you get the other at the same time. Or they're close to it. But something else I'm noticing, guys, is if you look over here on the left. Here, let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay. You see that? That look like a little ball of plasma. If we back up and we go look the past 3 days, there's a lot of that coming off of that side of the sun. Those little balls of ejection of plasma getting ejected from the sun. Okay. Now this is action, guys. This isn't. This is stuff that we see during a more active time for the sun. You know, we're looking at solar flares every day or CMEs every day for 5 or 6 days in a row, and now we're having 2 of them in one day on opposite sides of the sun. So, you know, what's going on here? You know, is this a natural progression back into a more active time for the sun? It probably has something to do with that, but more so right now, what's going on is our alignment, is a planetary alignment. Earth and Venus and the sun are lined up almost exactly right now. And I'm not saying that that's causing all of it, but I do think that that's the straw that's breaking the camel's back here. I think it has a lot to do with what we're seeing. You know, the CME and the solar flare doesn't have to get ejected towards us and Venus for it to be being caused or instigated by us and Venus. You know, magnetic connection goes all the way through the sun, guys. I mean, so it can happen anywhere. And, you know, so we're going to have to keep an eye on this, because this one over here, that was a C-class flare. Maybe even this one too. I don't know yet. I went over to the CME tracker. It hasn't updated at all. Not since that double wave one I showed you from 2 days ago. So let's go look at stereo A, and we'll see what we got. Okay, guys, this is stereo A. This is back on the 27th. And as you can see, I'm going to slow this down a little bit so you guys can see it better. This does look like it's going off the back side of the sun, okay, which is good for us. At least this initial one, all right? You can see it right here. And I showed this to you last night. That's that initial one. Now we're going to go to the 28th, and we're going to take a look at it too, because I think that, well, we'll go there real quick, and then we'll talk about it. So as we're looking at this, you know, we have to take in mind what's actually happening. Okay, that first CME that was blowing off the right side, that looked like it was going off the right side that I showed you guys, the big one from today, it's going off the back side of the sun. Okay, see that? And it looks as though that maybe that other one is too. I can't say 100% on that one yet, because I'm not seeing a whole lot. I am seeing a small little ejection here at the end, which I guess could make that second one maybe coming at us. I don't know yet, guys. So I'm not going to say one way or the other if that second one's coming at us. I can tell you the first one isn't. Because the viewpoint we got right here, here's the Earth, and the satellite's here. Okay? So there's no way, if we see it going this way on this satellite, there's no way it's coming near Earth. It's impossible. Even if our viewpoint is two-dimensional, because here's the satellite, here's Earth again. In order for it to look like it's going to the left, it would have to be from here, over somewhere. Okay? All that stuff coming off in that direction is going to look like it's going directly to the left. And we might see it kind of poked that way every once in a while, or even down this way, but not usually. So, you know, and you go over here and look, you can see it pretty good here too. That was no joke. That was a C-class flare. Okay? And I'll show it to you over on Space Weather, and I'll show you that it is a C-class flare. At least that's what it's showing up on the solar X-ray flux. So we'll take a look at that in just a second. But that second CME, it does look like it may be coming. It could be coming at us. I don't know yet. I don't want to say it is because I'm not 100% on it yet. I'm going to have to wait for that one to come in a little bit better. Okay, so here's that biggest one right there. That's the one I'm calling like a C-class flare. That's the one that's actually, believe it or not, guys, that's blowing off the backside of the sun. Okay, I know this is a good way to show people, because I know it looks like it's going off to the right. It's angling that way, but it's more so going like this than it is off this way. It just looks like that because of our perspective. All right? And that's why when we were looking from over here, it looked like it was going that way. That's how we know what direction it's going. Okay? So, you know, given that, you know, this last flare is the one I'm really actually concerned about, because I'm not sure if that's coming at us or not. Now, if we're going to get hit with this other one here just in a couple days, a day or two, and then this one's going to follow up behind it, we're going to have to watch this, guys. So I'm going to take you over and show you the alignment again. Okay, guys, I got you over at SDO, and we're going to take a look at these CMEs on this one, okay? I do think that they're coming from those active areas. Now, I think the first one's over here. Check this out. We'll take a look at it. I think it did. I could be wrong, but we'll look at it. There was a small one right there. It didn't look like it was very big, but that could be that one that fired off the backside. Or I could be wrong. But most definitely, if we go over here and look, check this out. I showed you guys this first part yesterday. Okay, here's the first one, watch. Right about there, boom. Now watch the second one. It's even bigger. Wham. Okay, so listen, guys. That active region's coming around. Okay? That thing doesn't look like it's going to be playing any games. I want to say this too, though, okay? We're coming out of a very quiet time with the sun. So when we see stuff like this, we do tend to get a little excited, and especially those of us that research this stuff and watch this stuff. We got to, after I say, listen, we got to look at the little stuff sometimes too, right? But at the same time, we have to understand that this is natural. Okay, it is a natural uptick. I've said that, listen, it might be a faster uptick right now than what we're used to. I don't know. We have to wait and see. But that's why we make the observation, and that's why we keep watching. That's the whole reason. So what I'm saying is that those of you guys that are new to any of this, just know that when we get into like a solar maximum, like when we get close to the peak of that, a lot of people are going to be very surprised how many CMEs, how many solar flares, all the above that we see. We're talking multiple ones a day. We're talking, it's a constant barrage of stuff during that time period. And, what makes us concerned is right now our magnetic field is weaker. If we can't regain that strength before we get to that time, anything that hits us that's like that, especially multiple hits after another, which happens quite often when we're in a solar maximum, okay? If we don't return to that magnetic field strength that we were before, it's going to affect us a lot more. And I'm talking like we could see outages, we could see all the stuff that we talk about, depending on how big the stuff is that comes at us. Now, the biggest thing that we're concerned about most of the time is catching one big, huge X-class solar flare during a time when our magnetic field is weak. Because if that hits us at a time like that, we will see catastrophic stuff happen. There's no way around it. Our lives are based too much on electricity, technology. Our kids would not know what to do. Even with this lockdown that we're talking about, they don't know what to do with that. Imagine taking their devices away from them. Because that's what would happen. Essentially, we would be forced to do that because they wouldn't be working if we got this big, huge flare that that we're concerned with getting during a time that our magnetic field is weak. So that's why we even talk about any of this. Now, that being said, you guys know I don't usually talk this way as far as, hey, this is bad. This is not good. But what I want to say to this is natural, okay? We can't control any of it. Don't worry about it. Be aware, be prepared, don't worry. You can't do anything about it, guys, except for what I just said. Because I get quite a few emails, what can we do to, protect ourselves and all that. And there's small things that you can do. I'm not going to go into those. You know, we're talking about like getting Faraday cages and all that stuff. That is taking it to another level. Some people are more comfortable when they do stuff like that. It makes them feel better. So if it makes you feel more safe, why not do it? Okay? I personally haven't got a Faraday cage because I think that if we lose our technology, it ain't going to matter if we protect the couple of devices we have at our house if all the cell phone towers don't work. I mean, you see what I'm saying? If our lines get fried, like, you know, back in the day with the Carrington event and all that. So, yeah. But this is one of those things we have to pay attention to. This active area right here, and it's coming around to be Earth-facing here in the next day or two. Okay, you can already see little eruptions happening. We can see what's going on there, and then the big one there at the end. That last one, that second one, I believe it ended up being like a C-class flare. And we're going to go check it out here in just a second. Okay, I got you still here at SDO. This is the 304. I want you guys to check these out on this one. There's actually 3 of them. So there's one. See that? That was the first initial one I already showed you guys. Now here comes the next bigger one. It's coming. See that little flare right there? And then, boom, look at that. Okay, that was the big one. And then the third one, do you see that third one pop out there at the end? So this particular area of the sun, if it's not an official sunspot, it is very active anyway. When that area of the sun rotates on through and we see it right here, they'll be able to see if it has a characteristics of a sunspot underneath on the surface, okay? That's what they wait on to actually designate it as a sunspot. So we'll have to wait and see. And, you know, again, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over here and show you the solar X-ray flux over at Space Weather. But before I do that, guys, there's other stuff on the other parts of the sun that's going on. Okay, we got another active area here getting ready to come through. We have this one up here that's actually giving us some solar weather. Okay, we got filaments dancing around all the time now. So, you know, we're definitely moving into a more active time. Whether this trend continues, I don't know. I'm on this ride with you guys. Okay, I don't know where it ends. I can just show you where we're at right now. But again, this one up here is the one we need to be watching. So keep that in mind. Anybody that watches these tools, watch that one, because I'm telling you, if that activity continues, when this thing gets in front of us right now, it's going to, yeah, we'll see more action is all I'm saying. Okay, I got you back over here at Solar System Scope. And I did this for you guys yesterday, or early this morning. So we're going to go over here and we're going to get behind Earth. Alright? We'll zoom in. Now, do you guys see how much closer and closer Venus is to lining directly up with us in the sun? For whatever reason, a lot of times our sun does not like this alignment. I think we pull on it in different ways, and both of us and Venus, and the way we're connected to the sun, all that stuff starts crossing over one another, and it causes some of this stuff that's going on. I do think that's a big part of what we're seeing right now. And again, it's just my opinion, but, you know. So I'm going to hit play here. We're going to go, let's just go forward a little bit. So, let's do that. It's going forward a little bit, so let's go faster. You see that? Okay. Now, as we're looking here, it doesn't look like, let's back it up a little bit. I was trying to see if Mercury was going to line up with us and Venus. It doesn't look like it's going to. Looks like we get out too far ahead of it, and then that alignment just doesn't happen. Okay. Yeah, because see how Venus starts getting out of a line with us now? It's off to the right by the time Mercury gets in front of us. Now, you know, we actually come in line with the sun and Mercury quite often. because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, so obviously it's we're seeing that happen more often than what we do on other planets. It orbits in like, I think it's 37 days, 38 days or something like that. It's pretty crazy fast, but that is what it is. So I do think that that's what's causing some of this, guys. So we'll go over to space weather. All right, sure enough, guys, it's most definitely showing flares. This is that B-class flare that a lot of people already talked about. This one here. Then we had a smaller one, the one I showed you. And then we got that big one there on the end. Okay? That one there got into C-class. Okay? It looks like it might be like a C1 or something maybe. But I do think that that got into C-class flare range. So, you know, that's right in the middle. If that stuff was coming right at us, we would definitely see some stuff from it, like increased auroras, possibly earthquakes, all that kind of stuff, right? But we can scroll down. Geomagnetic activity is very, very nominal right now. Matter of fact, there's probably like a cosmic ray advisory out because the geomagnetic activity has been really low for an extended period of time now. And so you can see this right here is actually starting to become more and more Earth-facing. That spot I was showing you. So once it gets right in front of us, guys, that most definitely is the most dangerous time. So, did these other models pick up on it yet? Well, they might have. Who knows what to wait and see if these things, if what they're saying here turns out to be the truth. So yeah. But guys, I am going to go ahead and end it here. I'll keep you guys up to date and see what's going on with those CMEs. But anyway, God bless, Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.